Hey guys, welcome to the video. Salt here. Today we're going to be going over the new Warframe Temple. To acquire him, you'll need to purchase his parts from Flare in the Hulvania Mall for a combined total of 390 beating heartstrings. Beating heartstrings can be acquired by doing the new Stage Defense mission type. His parts can also drop as rotational rewards. I personally saw his parts drop in C rotation, which is wave 12 as a reward. I ran this mission type about 6 to 8 times, and in that time had his systems and chassis drop on C rotation, and had enough beating heartstrings to purchase the blueprint and neuroptics afterward to finish him. Okay, before we go over his build, let's go over his abilities. His passive is a metronome that will be displayed in the middle of your screen. There is a pendulum that swings to the left and right, and there is a perfect cast area highlighted in the middle. If an ability is cast while in the perfect cast area, it will get 50% ability efficiency, give 55 ammo to Lizzie, which is Temple's guitar and 4th ability, and also the ability that is perfect cast will get an additional effect. His 1 is Pyrotechnics. Heat pillars will hit enemies in a radius around your aiming reticle, dealing heat damage and status. This will hit 5 enemies at base and auto-targets those 5 enemies in this radius. Perfect casts will create 2 times the amount of fire pillars. Additionally, this synergizes with the 3 Ripper's Wail to increase heat damage, stacking, and duration. His 2 is Overdrive. This creates a wave of heat damage and causes enemies to be CC'd for about 2 seconds. This also acts as a debuff on enemies, giving you extra crit chance against them. This crit chance acts as final crit chance, being added at the very end of damage equations. So this works the same as Puncture Procs and Arcane Avenger. Perfect casts will apply this with double the value. Additionally, this also synergizes with 3 Ripper's Wail to increase heat damage stacking and duration, same as the 1 did. Temple's 3 is Ripper's Wail. You'll become invulnerable, be fully healed, including shields, and this also gives you maxed overshields. And if that wasn't enough, this gives a heat damage buff to you and allies in range that gets larger the more times you perfect cast the 1 or the 2 while also hitting enemies with them, stacking up to 750% heat buff, and that is capped at 750. Perfect casting this will increase the invulnerability time even longer. The 4 is Temple's exalted weapon, Lizzie. The 4 is called Exalted Solo. Now, Lizzie is a flamethrower. This functions similarly to the Ignis Wraith and the primary kit gun, the Gaze, meaning it's a beam weapon that once it hits a target produces an AoE area. This AoE area does not take multi-shot into account and could be affected by mods like Primed Firestorm to increase that AoE size. Now, that being said, you should still try to somewhat aim the weapon, as the enemy that actually gets hit directly will take considerably more damage due to multi-shot. Just think of the invisible AoE bubble as just extra icing on the cake. Lizzie has innate heat on the normal fire mode, but has 4 different alternate fires. You access these alternate fires by aiming and then pressing your ability buttons for each one. So when you aim, when you press 1, that is viral, 2 is magnetic, 3 is cold, and 4 is corrosive. All 4 of these will launch a projectile that does a forced proc of that element and impact. And if perfect cast, it's 3 of those forced procs. Now, as far as the cold and corrosive procs go, 1 to 3 procs of either of those don't give much value, it's just a little extra. But viral and magnetic are the opposite. You actually get the most value out of their first proc, giving you 100% bonus to either health or shields, with subsequent procs only being worth 25% each. meaning that the proper way to use this would be when a large target is in front of you, like a Thrax, an Eximus, etc. You'll quickly just aim, press 1 and 2 for viral and magnetic, and now you've severely weakened this enemy in front of you. Perfect casts of the 4 will pull Lizzie out using 0 energy. Also note that Lizzie uses a charged bar for its ammo that will be in the center of your screen with the metronome. Now the subsume we are going to use is going to be Breach Surge from Wisp. This will blind enemies and give them a debuff that will shoot off a projectile every time they take damage to other enemies, and also amplify that damage and status chance. The slot we put this over is Temples 1. Now Temples 1 is okay, and if you don't want to subsume, it's fine on its own, but the synergy it has with the 3 is the exact same as his 2, except the ability of the 2 is just better, meaning that this slot would be the choice for a subsume. Okay, let's go over the mods. Archon Vitality for increased HP and double heat procs. Archon Continuity to convert our Toxic mod on Lizzie to Corrosive, potentially allowing it to full strip. Archon Stretch for increased range for Breach Surge and the 2. Now, even though the 4 looks like a channeled ability, on testing both Archon Stretch and the Xeneric tree worked while the 4 is active, which is really cool. Primed Flow to give us a larger energy pool. Blind Rage for ability strength. Transient Fortitude for ability strength. Umbral Intensify for ability strength. In this last normal slot, we have some options. Now, if you mostly play level cap, or are just very used to using Rolling Guard, then Rolling Guard allows you to pretty much almost completely shore up all of your vulnerable time, meaning that Rolling Guard would be the best option here. Now, me personally, I only do level cap a few times a month at most, and in my normal movement, I'm always rolling with my bullet jumps, so I end up wasting Rolling Guard a lot. So for me, I like Primed Redirection. This obviously gives you more shields, but it also increases your shield gate time by about 1 second. So that's not as good as the 3 seconds you'll get from Rolling Guard, but it's still a good in-between. And finally, probably the greedier option is Augur Reach, for slightly more range on your 1 and your 2. I say this is a greedy option because you'll be sacrificing potential survivability for possibly some more extra damage. In the Aura slot, we go with Growing Power for ability strength. And in the Exilus slot, we go with Power Strength for ability strength. If you notice here, it will have to be a 2-star power drift to fit it, but it's only a 7.5% strength loss. In the Arcane slots, first up, we have Arcane Acceleration to give our primary, including Lizzie, 90% fire rate. Now, I was just talking about being greedy, and this pick here is definitely a greedy one. It's just that there are so many good mods you could use on Lizzie. This Arcane lets us fit 1 extra mod by basically being our fire rate mod that we would have had on Lizzie. And so that's why we're choosing this greedy option here. And then we have Molt Augmented for a large ability strength increase. Now I want to make you aware of something. Let me pull it up here. Okay, I want to make you aware of a brand new Arcane that will eventually replace the Arcane Acceleration, and that's Arcane Hotshot. But it's brand new and it's kind of rare. So for now, we can only dream about this, but if you're from the future with a maxed out hotshot, please let us know how it is. Now, to go over Lizzie, Temple's Exalted Weapon, I already went over all of the unique and weird things about it when we went over the 4, so we'll just go through the mods. Galvanized Chamber for multi-shot. Galvanized Aptitude for status chance and flat damage, critical delay for crit chance, vital sense for crit damage, rifle elementalist is for increased status damage. In the next two slots here, we use the 60-60 cold and the 60-60 heat to make blast. Then we use the 60-60 toxic. Remember, because of Archon continuity, this will convert to corrosive. In the Exilis, you really need to be using Sinister Reach for plus 12 beam length. Base, this thing only has 10 meters of beam length, which is really, really bad. So with Sinister Reach, you're at 22 meters, which is fine. And finally, in the Arcane slot, we use Crux for 300% status chance. That combo is amazing with all of our elemental options. Now, let's go over the externals. Firstly, I want to say that none of these externals are needed. They only help to magnify an already awesome Warframe. So let's do Archon shards first. I use 1 purple for a mini equilibrium effect. This helps a little bit for energy generation. I use 2 yellows for casting speed, although I know a lot of people that are going for 3 for casting speed because casting speed is so nice on Temple. And then the 2 at the top are kind of debatable. I think for level cap runs, you easily choose 2 greens to increase your corrosive cap. This will let you full strip. But for non-level cap, a lot of the enemies die before you can even reach the corrosive cap, meaning you get limited value out of them. So instead here, I went with 2 red shards for duration, but you can use pretty much anything you want if you don't intend to do the 2 greens if you're doing level cap. The primary weapon doesn't really matter too much because when you have Lizzie out, you can only switch to your secondary, so the primary doesn't really matter too much. For secondaries, the Azima is an easy pick. The Azima acts as a 30-second pseudo ability that both spreads viral and produces overguard. For people that don't know, when overguard breaks, it acts as its own 0.5 second shield gate. I'll show the build, but this is a weird weapon, and I suggest you look up MahiCG build for more information because it is built out kind of weirdly. For melees, the Praetos Incarnon gives you passive parkour speed. The Bow, Anku, and Okina Incarnons give you passive movement speed. And all of these don't even require that the weapon is out. You don't even have to even use the weapon and you still get those effects. So you can choose one of those. I think is the best just passive option for some extra buffs. For Focus School, Zeneric is great for increased energy production. And for pets, the Panzer Vulpaphyla is the pick for a few reasons. One is he has consistent viral priming with his 2 mods, which would be Viral Quills and Panzer Devolution. And 2 is Martyr Symbiosis. There's a lot of things about this mod that aren't explained on the actual mod itself, but one of the most important things is that this is a 1-second health gate that can trigger over and over and over again, depending on how lucky the Panzer gets with Tech Assault and Loyal Companion mods. So this gives another chance to cheat death for shield gating type builds. So we have our normal shield gate, we have the 0.5 second shield gates that we can get from our secondary, we have the 1 second health gates from Panzer Vulpaphyla, all that, and Temple can almost just press his 3 whenever he wants to full heal and get invulnerability also. So he's pretty good. I really like him. That's how you build out the new Warframe Temple. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, consider leaving a like or subscribing for future content. And so I'll leave you with about 5 minutes of gameplay and mixing all of these things together. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. All right, bye.